here, the Kinetic Knitter. This episode might come out a little just frustrated sounding because yesterday I recorded a whole episode of all the stuff I'm going to share today, and it came out very blurry. So now I'm very paranoid that it's going to be blurry again, but I'm trying it from a different location in my home in hopes that it doesn't happen again. And so if I touch the screen to make sure it's focused often, I'm very sorry. I am still learning this new camera, and I am also learning which areas of my home are best for recording with natural light. So please forgive all of that. That said, I don't know if I've done a great job of telling you much about myself or where I come from if you're new here. So I'll just start by saying this is episode 3 of the Kinetic Knitter podcast, or blog, videocast, whatever you want to call it. Let's see, what do I want to say? Okay, so I'm a yarn dyer, indie yarn dyer behind the Kinetic Knitter yarns, and I obviously also knit, crochet, all the things, and I just wanted somewhere to come and share all of that in a really conversational way. I didn't want it to be too crazy formatted, but I do also understand there's value in format, so you can kind of know what to expect. So just bear with me through these early episodes while I find my way and figure out what format feels good and feels the most natural. So that said, you can find me on Instagram at the Kinetic Knitter, same with YouTube, all the things. So, I mean, if you're on YouTube right now, you've already figured that out, I guess. So, okay. I'm going to start with what I'm wearing, finished objects today, because, yeah, I'm wearing one. I'm not wearing real pants today. I couldn't be bothered to get that fancy. So I am wearing the DRK Everyday Sweater. You would have seen it in whip form if you'd seen the previous episodes. I knit it using Woolberry Fiber Co.'s Rabbit Rump colorway in their sport weight base. I got it from one of their recent pre-orders. The knit, I think I knit a size 3, the medium, and it fits nicely. I love the way it fits up top, but I don't know, I think my body shape is just very different from Andrea Mowry's, so when she wears it, it's got this really cute kind of like fitted around the hips or waist look, and it just like looks so cute on her, but we're just shaped very differently, and so I don't know, I'm gonna have to play with it and see if there's different stylings I can do, because I'm not super in love with the way it fits me, but I'll stand up even though I'm in my PJ pants. But you can see it's got this hem or bottom ribbing here, and it kind of goes out like this on my hips for me, and for Andrea Mowry it seems to like cinch in more, and maybe it was me, like maybe I could have done something differently, but I don't know, hers just kind of sits differently. So that's that. I do like it. I think if I can like tuck it in to high-waisted jeans, maybe wear, I don't know, a jacket over it, it would be a really cute top. So I'll just have to play with it, but I will say I really love this neckline. It has kind of that like a thicker ribbing here, and I love that look for whatever reason. And then I did mention last time too how the speckling kind of, even though I alternated skeins, it was much lighter here and much more concentrated here. So I think I'm going to maybe go in and try to add some more. Since I'm a dyer, I can try that. I am nervous. I will destroy the sweater. So I may or may not do that. I don't know. Time will tell. So yeah, that is that finished object. I should share these earrings. They're by the Amour Co., I want to say. I didn't write that in my notes, but I'll make sure and add it. They're really fun. They're really big, and I love them. Okay, so I'm gonna go to the next finished object here. I need to slow down. I feel like I'm out of breath. Okay, so I recently had my fall pre-order for just a select few colorways that I recently had an in-stock update for. I chose like the most popular ones that people were interested in, and I opened a small pre-order. So that closed up already, unfortunately, but I do have a sweater quantity listing in my shop. So if you ever see a colorway on here and it's a regular shop colorway and you want a sweater quantity, you can always go order it there. That means you have to order at least 3 skeins of the same base of the same colorway to qualify for a sweater quantity. Otherwise your order will get canceled, because it's just, I can't take orders for 1 skein of this, 1 skein of that, but it would just be way too much work and a lot of overflow yarn, you know? Anywho, that's how most people do it. That's probably not super new information to you. So this is the Snowfield sweater, and I knit this out of one of those new pre-order colorways, Mossome. It's got this moss green undertone and then this tobacco-y gold brown overtone, and I really love it. It's very, very warm, so I'm not gonna wear it, but I'll put in some footage of me actually wearing it. It's 2 strands held double. She did more of a blown yarn, I think, like a really lightweight fuzzy yarn for hers, the designer did. Let me see, what was her name? It's Coco Amour Knitwear, Cheryl Mokhtari or something like that. I'm sorry if I said that wrong, but I chose to use my own hand-dyed yarn. I had some leftover cashmere Aran weight that I have discontinued, so I dyed some of that, and then I had some just my classic worsted base that I dyed, so I held those 2 together to get this fabric, and it resulted in a very, very heavy sweater. So it's very warm, very heavy. I won't be wearing it often, but I will wear it on the polar vortex days. So that is that. And those are actually my only completely finished objects since I last recorded. So next I will move into my whips. And that kind of segues the blown yarn comment, because I'm using, Knit Picks Wonderfluff right now in the colorway Wellies Heather in a blown yarn. So it's like a charcoal black with some lighter heathered tones, and it's blown, so it's like very lightweight, very fuzzy, and lovely. And I'm using it, it's the yarn that's called for in Park Williams Park Knit, her new pattern, which is actually like very similar to the Snowfield sweater I just showed you. But anyway, this is much lighter weight. It's the totally tubular turtleneck. And I finished the body and I just started knitting one of the sleeves. I apologize, the dark color is gonna make it really hard to see. But it's kind of a cropped, flowy, another oversized turtleneck. So the sleeves are on and I'm about 5 rounds in. So hoping to finish this by the next time I record, which at the pace I've been recording lately is about every 2 weeks or so. But that could change and fluctuate based on what's going on in life. So I'm really enjoying that knit, and I love a quick knit. So that's always lovely to have something that comes together really fast. Yeah, those are my, no, I'm still working on whips. Sorry, my brain's kind of in a lot of places today. I have the day off, it's a bank holiday. And so I'm just like putzing around the house, getting stuff done, cleaning things, organizing. I'm gonna dye some yarn later, and I have a to-do list this long, so my mind is just kind of everywhere right now, so I apologize if I seem very scattered. Okay, next whip. So I'm 1 sock in, 1 sock is finished, and I'm doing just a simple, just kind of a vanilla ribbed sock, making it up as I go, kind of a combination of different patterns I've learned over the years. What I really wanted to do was a fleagle heel, which if you haven't done one before, it's usually used for toe-up socks, and you just kind of knit until your stitches are almost doubled from what they should be, and then you start decreasing those stitches back out, and you just get this really nice, pretty heel. But I am doing them cuff down, so it's called something else. I don't think it's called a fleagle heel when it's done cuff down. I'll try to remember which tutorial I watched and put it in the notes if you want to try this, because it's really nice. And I find a heel flap and gusset really tedious, and I don't love knitting them. And afterthought heels are really handy and nice because you can just knit your sock in one long tube and then go in and deal with it later. But I will say the fit isn't the best for me when I do an afterthought. So these fit very nicely. And then let me also share this yarn is by Fantasy Fiber Co. Or Fantasy Fiber Company in the colorway, one sec, I gotta look at my computer, in the colorway Major Arcana and the Emperor, and it's on her Enemies to Lovers fingering base. So yeah, I'm really enjoying this. I love this little pop of red that they have. And then I followed Kay of the Crazy Sock Ladies notes on making this little accent color at the top instead of doing a whole cuff of that color. I just think it's a nice, fun way to switch things up. What else can I tell you about this? Oh, I will say the little stitch markers here that you see, if you haven't seen that before, you're wondering why they're there. It's just how I count my rows. So coming down from here, there's a stitch marker every 10 rows. So I know when I get to this one, which is I think 70 rows, then I'm gonna start my heel. I just wanted a taller sock. I get impatient and I usually stop around like 50 rounds for my leg. And so this time I wanted to make it a little bit longer, and I do really like it. So it's kind of worth the investment of time to make it a little bit longer. So that's what I did. And I did start the second one. It fell. So here's my second one. I'm just doing it on magic loop. Yeah, I don't know if my camera is able to focus on this right now. It's really struggling. Anywho, you've already seen the completed sock, but you get the idea. So that's that one. And that's it for my whips right now, to be honest. I'm not really working on anything else. I am so afraid that it's not focusing again. You guys, I will be so upset if this whole thing is not focused and blurry again. Anyway, let me move into, I did start the West Knits, the Stephen West Mystery Knit Along for this year. I've never done one before. I typically find his shawls to be way too big for my taste. For example, I have the Find Your Fade by Andrea Mowry, and it's gorgeous and I love it. But the little wings of that shawl are so long, and I'm just wrapping and wrapping it around myself, and it's just not comfortable to wear because there's so much bulk, even though it's a fingering weight shawl. So I have never really knit any of his shawls because they do tend to be on the humongous side, and then they just hang in my room and I don't ever wear them. So anyway, this year I saw Geo Gradient and I thought, oh, I love a gradient. So I decided to join this year, and it kind of worked out because he ended up switching out the first clue, which I'm in full support of. Full support. I totally understand why, and I appreciate that he made that change. If you don't know about it, I'm sure you can figure it out on Instagram. But anyway, so now I'm working on the clue 1, but I will tell you, I probably started it 3 or 4 times. If you've ever made the muscle bra hat by Isolde, it has where you cast on like a very minimal amount of stitches in the beginning and then you grow out. So on magic loop, starting with like 8 little stitches and then increasing incrementally is really, really tedious, and I kept splitting my yarn and it was infuriating. But I decided to start with a different color that's on a slightly different base than I started with, and then I was able to get through the first step of the clue and move on. So I will share more about that project when I actually like make some progress on it and we're into week 2, so there's not spoilers. I don't want to be a spoiler and give anything away, but I think it's going to come together in a really fun way. I use kind of unexpected color, not really unexpected. They're actually very much warm tones that are in my neighborhood of happy colors, like a mauve and a mustard and a like a bright orangey red and like a cream or a neutral, a rust color. So I'm still debating which four I'm going to use because I'm early in the project, but I might switch it up. So anyway, more to come on that next episode probably. And then, oh, acquisitions, and that'll be the last really yarny thing I have to share. So I don't know if you've heard of Cat Sandwich Fibers, but I've been following her since I probably discovered hand-dyed yarn on Instagram many years ago. And she had an update, and I just was like, I just need one skein. I just need a skein of something so I can have something that is from her, and I'll just make some socks or something. Can I say something another time? So anyway, this is from her most recent update. Here's her label, Cat Sandwich. And then, let me see. There you go. You can kind of see those speckles. Online it looked just kind of like that pale pink and pale mint. But it actually has this yellow here too, which I wasn't really expecting. I'm not a huge fan of pastel yellow, but because it sucks, I think it'll be fine. These speckles are amazing. So I will tell you, this is her Trustie sock base, which is a merino nylon blend, and the color is Willy Nilly 017. So I think it's just one of her one-of-a-kind. She probably just, you know, testing colors or just wanted to have fun in the dye studio, which is one of my favorite things to do. So anyway, that's that. And then my other recent acquisition is by, let's see, this is Dragon Hoard yarn. And this, she did a, why don't I have words today? She did like a autumn box and autumnal box called a Fairy Gothic Autumn. And so this is her Myth fingering base. It's a 75/25 merino nylon. And it's just this really beautiful, like Merlot-ish, purplish color. And it's, yeah, it's really beautiful. There is some slight variegation in there that it's hard to show. It's like an almost black mixed in there. So I thought about putting this in my Stephen West shawl, but ultimately decided not to. It's quite a bit darker than some of the other colors I'm using. So I'll hang on to that. And then I have one other acquisition. And this was from yesterday, or not yesterday, a couple of days ago. I met up with some of my friends from our local knitting group, and we decided to check out the new yarn shop that opened up locally here in Minneapolis. And it's a very cute little shop. If you're local, you should check it out. It's called Dandelion Fiber Co. And it's in South Minneapolis area. And they carry some really cool yarns that I haven't seen in a lot of other shops. I'm afraid this is not focusing again. Okay, so I picked up a skein of a color that is just 110% Cara. It's Farmer's Daughter Fibers. They're Bear Paw sock base, and the colorway is called Clay Dreaming. So the Bear Paw sock base they carry has yak in it, which is naturally like a, I don't know, like a grayish brownish tone instead of cream like a merino would be. So it's got this really nice depth to it that is hard to describe, but in the sunlight it almost looks iridescent. It's a really, really beautiful color. So anyhow, that's what I chose for myself. Clay Dreaming, and this is one I actually am going to incorporate into my Stephen West shawl. Yeah, that's all of my recent acquisitions. Well, that's not entirely true, but I'm not going to share the rest until the next episode. So, what was I going to share after that? Oh, yes, so a little life update. I don't really have a lot else to share life update wise. That's it. if you're wondering why I don't offer a ton of shop updates and a ton of yarn and a ton of pre-orders, it's because I work a full-time job, 40 hours a week. I'm an executive assistant, and so my work life is pretty busy, and I only get to dye on evenings and weekends. And so obviously life has tons of things going on at all times, so I'm not always free to dye. And I'm also very limited by the amount of space I have in my studio because it's just in my home in my basement. And yeah, so I do it because I absolutely love it, and it brings me so much joy. It's such a wonderful creative outlet for me, but it's not my full-time job. So yeah, you might already know that. That might be really redundant, but in case you didn't, that's the scoop. So other than that, I'll probably continue sharing with you all movies and books and things like that, because those are the things that bring me the most joy. I love anything creative and entertainment. So recently, or I should say last night, I'm very, very, very into scary movies. I grew up watching them, Freddy Krueger, all the Friday the 13th, sleepaway camp movies, Poltergeist, like all the scary movies. So I'm pretty desensitized just because I grew up with it. But, so I enjoy watching them, and if a movie can actually really truly scare me, like that's a major accomplishment. So I watched an older movie I found on Netflix. They have so many things out right now for Halloween season. But I watched Ouija. Not great. Don't recommend, but it might be scary if you don't watch scary movies. I don't know. I watched it by myself at like 9 p.m. in the dark, and it did nothing for me. But I've also on Netflix this weekend, I watched Fair Play. That's what it's called, right? Anyway, it's got the girl from Bridgerton in it. I don't know how I feel about it. There were some scenes that made me a little uncomfortable and I did not enjoy watching. I don't know. I'm still undecided how I feel about it. Like, it held my interest, but it was, I don't know. I wouldn't watch it again. I don't know. I like 70% liked it. Anyway, if you've watched it, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Clearly, I have not finished feeling mine out yet. And then last weekend, I watched the Netflix movie Reptile with Alicia Silverstone and Benicio del Toro and Justin Timberlake, who, I'll be honest, I don't love him as an actor. But overall, I think the movie was really good. I very much enjoyed it. Recommended it to my mom. It was good. So I do recommend that one. Like a thriller. Yeah, it was good. I love a good mystery, and I am not the type of person that is like picking out all the details, trying to sort it out and figure it out before we get to the end. Like, of course, occasionally I'll make predictions, but I really like to be surprised. I really like the end to happen and shock me. So I don't ever spend too much time analyzing while I'm watching, because I don't want to just like have the end come and have it feel like a flop, you know? Like, yeah, I knew that. Like, I just want to enjoy it and be surprised. So I try my best not to read too deeply into the clues in the movie, but still pay attention to them, you know? And then, let's see, TV shows. I've been watching the new Love is Blind, which seems like a real dumpster fire. And I've been watching The Golden Bachelor, which seems very sweet and not at all a dumpster fire. And I've also been, oh no, hold on, all my notes are on my laptop way up here. Okay, and then Golden Bachelor, yeah, not a dumpster fire, it's really sweet. And then I've also been watching, what's the other one here? Oh yes, a new season of Great British Baking Show is out, and I think that show is really sweet. I don't know, it's just like really heartwarming and sweet, and I love all the people that they cast to, like, you know, participate in the competition. So it's a really nice show to watch that just can make you feel lighthearted and nice. And then also the new season of American Horror Story, which is the opposite of all that. I really love that show. So there's a new season. I'm still deciding how I feel about it. I'm not really sure where it's heading, but we'll see. And then I'm super looking forward to the Fall of the House of Usher on Netflix coming soon. The show is by the same people who made The Haunting of Hill House or Haunting of Bly Manor, something like that. And I really, really loved those shows. Like a horror TV show, sign me up. So that's what I've been watching. And then what I've been reading is, I mentioned this last time I think, is this book called Lessons in Chemistry. And it is by Bonnie Garmis. A lot of people have talked about this. I've been reading this. It is becoming a show on Apple TV, so I'm just trying to get through it quickly before that comes out because I know I want to watch it, but I'm only about 85 pages in, so I need to get moving on this. But I do like it. I am enjoying it so far. So that's a fun book if you want something to read. And then lastly, this is really random, but I've been trying to downsize projects and things that I'm no longer knitting. And I started this like probably 3 or 4 years ago, this sweater, and I got through one sleeve and it was too small and I just lost steam on trying to fix it. And it's knit with a colorway I don't dye anymore. It's mohair held double with my plush DK base, and it's in the colorway On the Road. But I'm not going to knit it. I am too lazy to frog it. So if anybody would like to claim this and repurpose the yarn, let me know. Put a comment below. I will mail it to you for free and you can turn it into something else that you might enjoy, honestly. So if there are multiple people that want this, I'll just randomly choose someone. If no one wants it, I don't know. Someone will someday. So anyway, yes, that's that. That's everything I have for you today. So thanks for watching, and if you've made it to the end, thank you for watching the whole episode. I appreciate you. If you want to like, comment, subscribe, all the things on YouTube, that'll just help me grow the channel and reach more people, because this is really fun. I really enjoy this part of the knitting community, talking with everyone who's interested in the same things. So anyway, that's all I have for today. I hope you had a nice weekend and have a wonderful week, and I'll see you next time.